Hi there, I'm Anna.
I'm Lee.
And we are the YIMBY Denver podcast. Today, we're celebrating the moments when Denverites spoke up and it worked.
And to usher in our very first podcast for YIMBY Denver, we have a very, very, very special guest, Mary Beth Susman. Mary Beth Susman is a former Denver City Councilwoman who served 2 terms as president of the council. She spearheaded the city's recreational marijuana ordinances. She helped develop the 2040 City Comprehensive Plan and the Green Roofs ordinances. She developed Denver's short-term rental ordinances. She led the creation of the Denver Transportation and Infrastructure Department. She received her Ph.D. from the University of Denver right here in town and spent her earlier career in higher education, retiring as vice president of the Colorado Community College System. She was the founding president and CEO of 3 statewide online colleges in Colorado, Kentucky, and Louisiana, which now serve over 300,000 students. Let's give a very warm welcome to Mary Beth Susman.
Yes, Mary Beth.
Thank you.
So, Mary Beth, we've known each other almost 10 years, which is wonderful that
amazing.
I can say that. That I've lived in Denver that long. It's actually the longest city I've ever lived anywhere. But I didn't know something about you when I looked you up online. I found the cutest picture of your childhood, and I need to show this to you right now.
Oh.
It is a picture.
Yes.
It is a picture of Mary Beth on a sled with her family in, I think, Alaska.
A Labrador.
Yeah.
Labrador was where it was.
Oh.
Goose Bay, Labrador.
Yeah, so I did know, Mary Beth, you and I share a common childhood that we both grew up in military families.
Yes, right.
And your dad, I think, in the Air Force.
Right.
Yeah, and so you, at this moment, I think, are a couple of years old. And when you came to, like, the greater mainland, had never seen buildings. Yeah.
I had never seen an escalator. I remember going to a store with my mom downtown. We were in the city, and I turned to look at her, and I pushed the door, and I fell through because I had never known a door that opened by itself, you know. So.
And your dad was studying what there?
Well, it was an early warning station for possible bombs from Russia.
Oh, I see.
And so that was sort of one of the stations. He was the commander.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, you have, as we've heard, a plethora of experience.
Mm-hmm.
But really today what we wanted to focus on is, what does community power mean to us? When have voices shaped our city? And so I know, so with YIMBY, one of the values of YIMBY is that we say yes to housing, we say yes to people, we say yes to neighbors. And one of the days we showed up as a group was a development called Zocalo, and it was in the west part of town, and it was a parking lot. And the developer wanted to put a pretty large development there that included affordable housing. And it was not looking good, a lot of opposition to this project. And it was one of the first moments our organization really showed up in person. We had about 20 people show up to City Council. We were wearing our YIMBY shirts, and it passed. It passed. It barely passed, but it passed. And it was so heartwarming. I remember just being so uplifted, like, wow, like you could very much see that we made a difference that day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Lee, what about you? What have you experienced?
Yeah, I actually just had a really intense, community engagement, community voices experience at the West Watch Park Neighborhood Association, affectionately known as WIPNA, which I didn't know until this meeting earlier this week. But we were at the WIPNA meeting on Tuesday, and we were kind of speaking out against the Alameda Avenue lane repurposing changes.
Oh.
There was a 10-plus year community engagement process led by the Denver Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, DOTI, which I also didn't know until this meeting. I've been learning so much this week. Yeah. But long story short, DOTI changed the plan for the lane repurposing at the very last minute. And, there's been so much coverage recently about how that was largely due to one outsized influence from a wealthy person who I won't name because there's so much coverage and so many other conversations to be had about that. But even though it didn't seem like we got our desired result at the end of the meeting, it was just so inspiring to be in a room with people from so many different walks of life, so many different organizations. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of people there from YIMBY, including myself. Mm-hmm. There were so many longtime WIPNA members, and there were so many people who were just parents and students and young professionals who just really cared about making sure Alameda Avenue was safer for children. And there's so many public comments. I gave a public comment about how I commute to school. I'm getting my MBA from CU Boulder, and I was talking about how I commute via transit, and I use Alameda Avenue to get on the bus, and the original design would have been so much safer and more comfortable for vulnerable users of Alameda like me. So it was disappointing to see the last minute changes, especially, because it seemed to be at the behest of someone who would be fine either way. So it was really inspiring to hear other public comments from parents who walk their kids to school, parents who refuse to drive their kids to school because it's like, you need to be out in the community, you need to care about the environment.
Yeah.
And so I just felt like so connected to Denver and to the people who live in my neighborhood. I made so many amazing friends.
Yeah.
And I'll see them again later today at our holiday party.
Oh.
And that's what it's really about. And I think this is an amazing first episode for YIMBY, just like talking about how community voices can really make a difference and bring people together.
Absolutely.
And even if they don't change the Alameda project back to what we already agreed would be good, like we all know each other that much better, and we all know that we have a shared vision for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know the Denver Bike Lobby was really involved in that. They've been really pushing that. And so that's
good.
what, like when you say that, like it's nice that you can have that connectedness with other advocates across the city. So Mary Beth, what about you? Can you share a moment or two from your time on council when public voices truly shifted a decision?
Well, a particular time, I just know that when a lot of people showed up, the council listened very carefully, and I don't remember exactly changed the possible vote, but certainly gave a lot of backing on how you feel. Of course, sometimes it didn't quite go the way one might hope, but yeah, it helped. It helped, and when you had a lot of people, you knew this was a very important issue for the community.
So for our listeners today, what small actions could they take to get more involved in city politics?
Well, let me tell you how I started out doing this.
Please.
I was on the PTA, okay? You can start at the PTA. The school needed a large gym, and the students that had been champion basketball players, and they couldn't play their cool games in their own gym. And so there were people who wanted to spend a lot of money on a gymnasium, but they also needed science labs. So I just sat there at the meeting and I just sort of said, well, we've got to work this out. And I kept showing up at the meetings, which is my rule of thumb, is if you keep showing up, they make you the chairman. And so they made me the chairman, and so we worked it out until everybody was pretty happy about getting labs and a gymnasium, and actually sports fields, which was, it's really Manual High School.
Yeah, there we go.
Manual High School. And then when it was over, I was disappointed because I was bored. And so I said, well, what am I going to do now? And then I hear that they're closing Lowry. And I'm thinking, whoa, that's going to be a big deal. So I call up my councilwoman and I say, who are the activists in the neighborhood? And she gave me the name of 5 or 6 people. I invited them over to breakfast. And we sat and we talked and we said, we've got to get engaged in this and see what's going on. So I had been a member of the League of Women Voters, and they made a committee called the Lowry Economic Adjustment Committee, which was a committee of people who are in the community about what they were going to do with Lowry. This was 1992, 2 years before the base was closing. And I always thought it should be called the Lowry Attitude Adjustment Committee rather than the Economic Adjustment Committee, because my goodness gracious. There were people who wanted us to just put a fence around it and do nothing and just leave it there. But I kept showing up.
Yeah.
And they made me the chair of the group. That's all I did, too. I just showed up. I just was there every single darn meeting. You wanted to say something?
No.
Okay.
I just find that nothing tends to be like the baseline. I'd rather do nothing than, like, something is scary.
Yeah,
right? And so that you're kind of like just overcoming that fear people have of just change in general.
Yeah.
So
An advocate in the Alameda Avenue situation was saying the same thing earlier this week when I was speaking to her. She was saying that in general, people are just so afraid of change, even if the change is going to help them, even if change is inevitable, as it often is in life.
Right.
yeah.
So it's just, I think a lot of this work is just combating that like natural human urge to want everything to stay the same, to be
yes.
safe, to be familiar.
Change is scary. That's
Change is
absolutely
scary.
right. Well, I went, I did the Lowry Economic Adjustment Committee, and then then the mayor asked me to sit on the planning board. You're just minding your own business. And then some on the planning board, was that ever fun? And they were doing things like limiting the height of buildings on 16th Street to save the sunshine on 16th Street, because there was the new mall. I'm really old. It was a brand new thing called 16th Street Mall. And it was, boy, was it controversial, but people showed up about it and how important it was to get it done, and so we did that. And then I went and took a job in another state, and they wouldn't let me stay on planning board. But when I came back, I wanted to do planning board again, and but I didn't know anybody. I'd been gone 3 years,
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, shoot, I'm going to have to run for office. And so I did.
I love that reaction.
I did. I was like, oh, here we go. And so that's how I got to be a council person.
Oh my gosh.
I got it because I love doing that community stuff that you guys are doing. And I, as a military brat, I never had a hometown.
Yes.
You know that
Yes,
feeling,
I know
right?
that feeling, and that's why like Denver is such a special place to me, because it actually at this point very much feels like my home.
I know, it's like
Yeah.
a conversion experience.
It is.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's just like, wow, I'm going to fight for this
Yeah.
city. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell people I'm not a native, but I've lived here longer than most natives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
I love that.
yeah, I say I had a baby here, so I'm
You're
I'm,
tied.
Oh,
I'm-
that's
I'm
right.
in.
Yeah, that's her home.
Yes,
now.
yeah,
Her-
exactly.
Her hometown.
That's lovely. So for our listeners, Mary Beth was instrumental in the Lowry neighborhood. The way it is today wouldn't be the way it is now without Mary Beth.
Oh, there were a lot of wonderful people
Yes,
doing that job.
yes, that's why we love you.
No, I mean,
The humble,
I mean, they were-
humble Mary Beth.
No.
And there is, if you've ever been, there's a wine bar called Postino's.
Oh,
And
Postino's
we
on
were
9th
there
in
with
Colorado.
with another advocate one evening a couple years ago, just having a ball. And me and this other advocate told the waitress, "Did you know this would have been a Walmart without Mary Beth?" we were just being so silly, and we had such a great time. And
Well,
so-
that's a good example of
Yeah.
what you asked me first. Of when people stepped up, I totally spaced that one out.
yeah.
Was the 9th in Colorado project?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having walkable neighborhoods is something worth fighting for. Having pocket commercial businesses like that, homes right near your work, is something to advocate for. Like, I'm so thankful that development is there instead of a huge Walmart and a huge parking lot.
And it wasn't really so much the Walmart, because as a council person, you can't say this particular store
Got
can't
it.
be there. But what it was big box, single story stores is what
Yeah.
they were going to put there, and not housing, and not walkable,
Restaurants, yeah.
friendly places. So
Yeah.
that was the thing that we didn't want in that neighborhood.
So, Mary Beth, why does all these stories of coming to a PTA, then going to inviting advocates over, getting involved in the planning board, and then ultimately city council, that may not be everyone's path, but why does it matter today to have your voice heard?
Oh, well, I think because it's very powerful to do. You'll be just amazed at how, you all, not all by yourself, but you'll join the groups that feel the way that you do, and you can make differences in the way your community looks and the way your community feels. It's a wonderful feeling to be able to do that. and you'll have other groups that will disagree with you, but you can find ways to make compromises. Because if you're part of a group that wants this, there'll be another group that wants that. So getting to know them at that level is very important.
And Lee, you're really involved with your RNO, so registered neighborhood organization. That's really another great way for people to get involved in their community.
Exactly.
Tell us about that experience, how the RNO work has been for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a newer experience for me, but I'm, like I was saying, like really excited to do that hyper local level work. Yeah. Because we're talking about like streets that we all live on and work on and play on every day. Kids feel unsafe crossing Alameda Avenue to get to elementary school.
I don't know what we're going to do, but I wanted to do it if I was a council person, is figure out how to help parents of young children attend those meetings, because they're usually about 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you have young children, it's almost impossible. And so very often you get people my age, there's a whole group of them, and you don't have the younger voices that we really need. And it would be nice if there was some way to provide childcare for parents, or just a little play area if you're having a neighborhood meeting, so that people can bring their kids.
So I hope our listeners are hearing that they can shape Denver or wherever they live as well. Making that first step can be hard. So we wanted to make it easier for our listeners. We have a YIMBY public calendar where we list all of our call to actions, any sort of group meeting that might be interested for them to attend. So we will be attaching this in the description of our podcast. And then one thing we wanted to address is that our Denver city government is considering the biggest push for more housing in decades. If you join that mailing list, you'll be able to see those meetings. It is called Unlocking Housing Choices. We have a couple committee meetings coming up. Now, before we end, I thought we could play a fun little game of trivia. You have 1 minute to answer as many questions as you can. If you don't know the answer, pass.
Okay.
Which famous TV apartment would cost the most in real life? Monica's from Friends, Jess's loft from New Girl, or Carrie Bradshaw's from Sex and the City?
Sex and the City.
Which Denver neighborhood used to be called Denver's streetcar suburb?
Pass.
Which Disney film features a magical sentient house that holds generations of women?
Oh, the witches one. I can't remember.
No worries. If I sing the song, we don't talk about Bruno. No, that doesn't. Okay.
No,
oh my
okay.
gosh, guys. which famous woman designed the Barbie dream house?
I have no idea.
On Schitt's Creek, what's the name of the motel where the Rose family ends up living?
I can't remember that.
You have one extra question. Which iconic sitcom apartment is famously unrealistic in size, inspiring endless memes about housing affordability? Jess's loft in New Girl, Monica's apartment in Friends, or Brownstone in Sex and the City?
Monica.
All right. So we'll go over the answers, but just to say, Lee got 1 right, Mary Beth 2.
Oh, no,
Mary Beth wins. All right. So yes, the famous TV apartment that cost the most was Monica's. Good job, Lee.
More than
yes,
Sex and the City?
more than Carrie Bradshaw's. Yes,
Holy
the
moly.
size.
Because of the size?
It was really big. Yeah, which helps us with the final question. The neighborhood used to be called the Denver streetcar suburb was South Pearl or Platt Park.
Oh.
The Disney film that features a magical house was called Encanto.
I know.
I know it now.
It's a great movie. You should check it out. And you'll be singing that song forever. The famous woman who designed the Barbie dream house, Ruth Handler. And Schitt's Creek, you guys have never seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
It.
Oh, it's such a good show. You have to watch it on my second
hilarious.
round. It is hilarious. The Rosebud Motel.
Oh, okay.
And that iconic sitcom apartment, famously too large, Monica's
Monica
apartment.
from
Yeah,
Friends.
Monica's from Friends. Very, very good.
I love it.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. Mary Beth, we're so happy you were here.
Oh, I was so happy to be asked. Thank you very much.
Course.
To
It's a
hear
pleasure.
your experience, offer some hope.
Guidance,
Yeah.
some hope, some guidance, especially in times like these where community activism and like just knowing your neighbors, I think, has been more important than ever.
Yes,
you know,
that's
supporting
right.
the people who are right there next to you.
Yeah.
When you talked about joining your neighborhood association, the both of you, that is a really good idea.
Well, I'm just so thankful for both of you for just getting involved, for encouraging other people, for just being great humans. It's so nice to
thanks.
talk with you guys about these things. And I really hope those who are listening feel that too, and feel like they can get involved and join and see where their place is in the city of Denver, or their own hometown. Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in. This was the YIMBY Denver podcast. Tune in once a month to hear voices from the community where we say yes to people, yes to housing, and yes to real stories.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Love that. Thanks.
Great.